So yesterday, I saw a lot of people getting onto Cesco. He didn't have a good game, but I saw a lot of people getting onto Cesco. This is a comment that was made by Gary Nevilles today on Cesco. He said, the jury is out. He's well off it compared to the other summer signings that Man United have made up front, like Cunha and Mbeumo. He looks awkward. He had a couple of good opportunities against Forest, but his touch wasn't right. For £80 million, you can say he's young and settling in, but you still want to see a bit more. In honesty, where are the lies? Where are the lies in there? Like, you can want to have a pop at Neville, you can want to have a pop at, you know, somebody who agrees with that, but where are the lies in that? The jury is still out. Well, it is. He's only been here 3 months. The jury would be out anyway. He's not performing like Mbeumo and Cunha. No, they're performing very, very well. He had a bad game against Forest, yeah. But you can say that he's young and settling in, and maybe we want a little bit more. I think all those things are fine. We are Manchester United, by the way. I mean, I wouldn't want to be sat here going, mate, it doesn't matter. Don't worry about your performance yesterday. It's absolutely fine. No, you want a player to know that they've not done as well as you would want them to do, but also say, come on, let's work harder. He's not £80 million, though. That is something I would say. He's not £80 million. So I would say that. He's not £80 million. He's, you know, we've got to get that right. And the second thing I would say is, as one of our best ever fullbacks in our club's history, Gary Nevilles, I'd question why he's not talking about Delot, who's a fullback, before Cesco. But I don't know the context of that interview. But I don't have a problem with what Neville's got to say, and I'll tell you why in a minute there. But as one of our best ever fullbacks in our history, I'm surprised he's not saying something about Delot, who's put in multiple poor performances this season and has been here for many years, whereas Cesco's literally just still settling in and has only played a handful of games, to be fair. But let's stick with Cesco for a moment. What you got to remember about Cesco is that the criticism is fine as long as it doesn't go too far. And that statement from Neville's not too far. That's just an opinion. You can disagree with it. God, do disagree with it if you do. But there's nothing toxic in there. It's just an opinion you don't like if you don't like it. Or maybe it's an opinion you do like. The jury's still out. I don't think, from what I've heard, I remember Gary Nevilles saying something about Cesco at the start of the season, saying, why is he on the bench? You know, why is he not being picked? So, you know, maybe that's not the striker that certain people wanted. Maybe they wanted Ollie Watkins. Maybe they wanted somebody else. But let's not forget about Cesco. Like, maybe Ruben Amorim didn't want Cesco. In fact, he didn't. What we have is a really talented player who 2 weeks ago, people were talking about being really, really good. And tonight are going, oh, I'm not so sure about him. Why? Because 2 weeks ago, he scored a goal. And then last night, he didn't. Or yesterday, he didn't. And that opinion just changes. It's a bit like Amorim in, Amorim out. Cesco's good, Cesco's bad. You're always going to get this. My general opinion on Cesco is that I've got no concerns at all. He is a new signing in a new league who is young, who is playing up front for Manchester United, which is one of the most difficult jobs in football because you get very little service. We are still not servicing our striker. We're still not doing it. And the stats will bear that out. But more importantly, we also need to remember that this is not just Cesco settling into the team, it's Amorim figuring out how to use a striker that wasn't even in his top 3 choices in the summer. So there's going to be a period of augmentation for both parties. And I feel that with Cesco as well, remember we wanted Delap, then we wanted Gyökeres, then we wanted Ekitike, then we wanted Watkins, and then we went for Cesco. So his 5th choice, and that's if we didn't go for Osman as well. So I would love this to be working out of the box. But he wasn't prolific at Leipzig. He wasn't mad prolific at Leipzig. He's a very talented young player who has a very high potential. But there's going to be bumps in the road. It's going to be a roller coaster. What else is going to be a roller coaster our season? So that commodity that we all need to find, and even I struggle with, patience, is something that we're going to need with Cesco, because he's not Cunha and Mbeumo. And Gary mentioning Cunha and Mbeumo, I don't know whether he meant this inadvertently, they are Premier League proven players in their mid-20s. Cesco's never played here and he's in his early 20s. So that's where he's got to go. That's the level he's got to get to 100%. However, I think we're going to need that. I think we're going to need that patience. But as I said after the game yesterday, why we're not putting crosses into the box, I will never know. I will never understand why we are not utilising crosses into the box for a 6'5" striker. Like, that to me is an absolute open goal that we are not scrutinising enough and we are not doing enough. So